Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your hosts Edward McQueen and April Garner.
Yo, we are live.
Brother Edward.
We are live.
Yes, we are. How you doing?
Good. Today's Monday.
Yes.
Oh man. We got to start some new things here. Starting the beginning of the year. Okay. Yeah. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our program, a community program, and hopefully we can uplift you again or inform you again as we do every week on important issues, guests, and so forth that will enlighten your knowledge about the community and beyond. April, our co-host, will also assist us today. Well, I'm assisting her. Let's put it that way. I'm assisting her. But anyway, welcome to the program. And April, I hope you had a good weekend. I'm sure you did.
I had a good weekend. I tried to do absolutely nothing. That's the best weekend I come up with. Weekend. Yes, you're right.
That's the best weekend. Mm-hmm. So April, we're getting into law enforcement this week, and the Conway Police Department has reached out, or they're reaching out to us, and in Horry County, to enhance their proactive movement, so to speak. I'm sure something like this has been done in the past, but probably on this scale, I'm not sure. But we're going to make sure that, or we're trying to make sure that it's if I use the words, for lack of a better word, digestive for what is being broadcast today from our guests in the police department. So without further ado, we want to introduce our guest. Sergeant Johnathan McAllister. How you doing, Sergeant McAllister?
I'm doing great, Edward and April. Thank y'all so much for allowing me to come on tonight and speak to you. I'm very excited about being here, and I'm so happy to see both of you. It's been a long time since we've actually had a face-to-face conversation, so this right here is just as good.
Yeah, it is. It's good to see you.
Mm-hmm. We'll buy that. we'll buy that. So first, kudos to your department, to the department for reaching out to our community and beyond, to everybody, regarding your action of being proactive movement for enhancing community relations. I'll just say that right now with community stakeholders.
That's exactly what we're doing, and who we want to speak to.
And I think we're certainly receptive to that, for doing that. So for our viewers, for some of you who don't happen to know our police personnel, Sergeant Johnathan McAllister is a person that's probably well known in the training division, I believe.
That's exactly right.
And he's responsible for a lot of gathering. In fact, he's been being proactive a long time ago, but probably not on this scale. So, Sergeant McAllister, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? For those of us who don't know you.
Absolutely. Like they were saying, I'm Johnathan McAllister. I'm the training sergeant here at the Conway Police Department. I've been in law enforcement now this is my 16th year, and born and raised in this area, but I did leave for about 13 years. I moved to the upstate of South Carolina. I stayed just outside of Greenwood, Abbeville area from 2002 to 2013. Went to college up there. After I graduated college, I ended up staying in the area after the 4 years at Lander University, and started working with Abbeville Police Department. And I worked in Abbeville from 2006 until 2013 when I got offered a job to come to Conway. So in 2013, I packed up everything and I moved back to my hometown, my area, I'm not from Conway or Horry County, but I do consider this my hometown. I grew up right across in Marion County, so I was always back and forth between Marion and Horry County. You know, we always went through Conway going to the beach, so kind of just landed in Conway.
No other way, man. You can't get there coming through Conway.
But I love the area. Like I said, I came here in 2013. I did do a brief stint on patrol. I worked patrol for almost a year, and got promoted out of the patrol division into training in 2014. And been in training since 2014. I worked my way up through the corporal position from 2014 to 2017. Got promoted to my current position in 2017. And so I've been riding the training sergeant position since 2017, and responsible for the training of our police officers here. So that takes a lot of time and dedication, making sure that every one of our police officers is held to the standard that the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy wants them to. And to say that, the minimum requirement for our police officers is 40 hours of training over a 3-year period. So you think about 40 hours of training over 3 years. Most of us work more hours than that in a week. So here at the Conway Police Department, and with the help and the dedication of Chief Dale Long, most of our guys are getting 4 and 5 times that amount of training every year. So we've got guys that are getting anywhere from 150 to 200 hours of training every single year when they're only required 40 hours over 3 years. So he has taken quite a stand on making sure our guys are trained far beyond anything the state or the nation requires us to be trained. So he also deserves kudos, Edward and April, on
absolutely
right. And the time he's focused on getting our guys trained.
Yeah, he's been quite interactive with us. He's been on our program before. You're talking about
he has.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
he's all about getting into the community, and
absolutely.
And he allows us to do it too. So that's different. That's different.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead, April. You want to say something?
I was just going to ask, just to kind of talk a little bit more about the training aspect of things. I'm curious to know what actually was the motivation behind making sure that the police officers in the department had more training. And I can imagine what some of the reasons could be, but what do you think was the catalyst for making sure that the training was happening more often?
He wants us to be the best, and you only get better if you train. You've got to train, and no matter what it is. If you want to be a better driver, you've got to drive more. If you want to be a better shot, you've got to shoot more. If you want to be able to verbally de-escalate a situation, you've got to practice that. If you want to be able to work with the mentally ill, you've got to work on that. And he has focused a lot of time and a lot of manpower to the National Alliance of Mentally Ill. So we have gotten currently almost every single officer through a 35-hour mentally ill class that deals with how to interact with people that have schizophrenia, how to interact with people that have dementia, how to know and recognize what that person is suffering from, so that because everybody that has a different diagnosis has to be approached differently.
Right.
So we've got to be able to speak with that person, look at that person, and figure out what they've got going on and how we can better adjust ourselves and our department to deal with that person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So are there any particular courses available, like, for example, at CCU or Horry Georgetown Tech, regarding dealing with mental patients?
Horry, Georgetown, and Coastal Carolina, I'm not exactly sure, and I can't speak on what they're offering. I do know that we bring in third parties to the police department to teach our people. So last week I hosted another 35-hour National Alliance of Mentally Ill class. It's a CIT, it's Crisis Intervention Team. And we host that twice a year. So we personally host 2 35-hour classes a year. And on top of that, we invite them in every year for our annual in-service training. We run training. Most of our guys do a week-long in-service training. And we bring in different entities, different organizations, different groups in to teach our people. Like this year, we brought in the National Alliance of Mentally Ill for a 3-hour block for every single officer. That's on top of the 2 classes that they've already came and taught that were 35 hours apiece. We also had the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy come in and teach verbal de-escalation. And that was a 4-hour block. We taught driving, emergency vehicle operations. We do high speed and low speed courses, so our guys can work on driving, to a hot scene, or if they've got to get to an emergency, we train them on how to drive that way. We also teach them how to drive slow. You've got to be able to have a precise and drive with precision around the city of Conway.
Right.
Some of these streets get kind of narrow when you put a 18-wheeler, ambulance, a fire truck, and then you've got to squeeze in a little police car.
Yeah.
So we teach them how to drive in emergency situations. We also teach them how to drive in a non-emergency situations. Tonight, we've got them down at our shooting range tonight doing night firing. So they're actually, they waited on it to get dark, and they're down shooting, learning how to shoot at nighttime, because we don't just work in day, we work at nighttime. So they're out practicing that. They're also practicing driving tonight. So we've got a course set up, and our guys are doing that tonight. So we're always training. And that's just because we're trying to make our officers the best that they can be.
I think, all the effort sounds like you're being very intentional. And, when you think about some of the more national level, high profile cases where, the perceptions of the police were challenged because of officers who appear to either have a lack of training or abusive training or whatever, it's really important, I can imagine, in your role and your police chief's role to make sure that everyone understands what you're doing with the Conway Police Department to ensure that those types of things don't happen in Conway because of a lack of training. And there's a comment here, and I have to show this comment mainly because this is family for me, but also he is watching all the way from Hawaii. And thank you, Cousin John, for tuning in again tonight. But he made a great comment. Sounds like a good start to healing and bonding. And, how can you have community outreach and expect the community to support what you're doing if there aren't measures in place to make sure that, like he says, the healing starts and you're bonding with the community. And one way to show them that you're doing that is to ensure them that you have safety first in mind. So sounds like all good stuff, Johnathan.
Absolutely.
So if something happens, if there's an incident occurs with an officer, and that is not, it is something that he was trained to work out, and he doesn't follow that training protocol, or what is it? Is there swift punishment, or what kind of action is taken?
Well, of course, we've got to look at the totality of the situation. We've got to see exactly what happened. We've got to get all the camera footage, all the different angles, because I'm sure you notice that every single police officer you come in contact with has a body-worn camera on. All of our police cars have 2 cameras in them, one facing forward and one facing back. So you've always got, from every single officer, you've got 3 different views of angles from cameras. So it takes a little bit of time to decipher through all the video footage. But yeah, I mean, if it comes out that there's a policy violation or something was not done according to the South Carolina laws, then there has to be action taken. And that goes for everybody. It's no matter if it's a 1-year officer or a 20-year officer, there's actions that have to be taken place.
So you're saying it's a camera on the person's back, on the policeman officer's back and front?
No, that's in the car, Edward. There's a
car. Okay. Oh,
yeah. Sorry. You'll notice that our officers have a body worn camera on the front, usually on their chest, on their vest somewhere, and then inside of our police cars, there's a camera on the front windshield, and then there's a camera in the center of the police car that faces backwards, just in case someone is taken into custody and they're in the back seat. Yeah. There's a camera facing them, so there's always different views and different angles in the police car.
Right.
Well, you've set some good context for a lot of the for the rest of the conversation that we're going to have tonight, as far as talking about preparation and what the department is doing to be proactive in a lot of situations, and that's the main topic of tonight's show. Talking about basically relationship building with community stakeholders, but also some of the ideas that you all have as far as developing, for example, a community advisory board, and how to expand your network throughout the community and in the community so that you're more effective in your job. So, Johnathan, tell us a little bit about some of these new initiatives that you all have on the table.
Well, and so what the project, thank you so much, April. And the project that I'm working on right now is I'm trying to get ahead of the game. I'm trying to get ahead of the incident. And what you run into a lot of times, and I think we've seen it across the board dating back all the way to 2014 when the Ferguson incident occurred, that action is only taken after an incident occurs. So I don't want Conway Police Department to be the department that an incident occurs, now we're scrambling around or we're struggling to get things lined up. I want our things to be lined up and solid from the get-go, so that when something does happen, heaven forbid, a bad incident occurs, then we've got a community full of stakeholders, or a group full of community stakeholders that we can immediately reach out to, give them the information of what just happened, what we've got going on, so that when the community starts the chatter, starts gossiping, saying, hey, this is what happened, this is what I heard, this is what was said at the barbershop, or this is what I heard at the store. We need stakeholders in the community that can say, no, stop. That's not what happened. This is what happened. And you want to know why I know what happened? Is because they reached out to me 10 minutes after the incident occurred, or 7 minutes after the incident occurred, and told me what they had going on. And they have filled me in every hour since then, or whatever it might be. So with that being said, this whole project that I'm working on currently is for us to get ahead of the incident.
Okay.
There was a book that was written years ago, and I think it's called Left of the Bang. So what that means is you're on the good side of the explosion when it occurs. So that's where we want to be. We want to be on the good side, so when something happens, we're already prepared. Whether that is a group that we develop now, or a group that we start talking about now, but for me, I think the actions need to be set in place. We need to start getting members and start getting this group organized, and have a scheduled plan on what we're doing and when we're doing it.
So this advisory board, I think you mentioned that in our pre-conversations.
Yes.
You talked to, I guess you touched on it a little briefly, but can you go into it as in terms of its quantity of people that's the most effective, or the impact that you're seeking?
What I'm looking for is, and the reason I've reached out to y'all, because y'all have got the outlet. This right here is an outlet of communication to people that I might not personally get to meet, or to see, or to come in contact with in my community. But we're trying to bridge this gap between law enforcement, and the community. And that's a gap that has been trying to be connected for many, many years. But the team I'm looking for, or the group I'm looking for, is I want people from different outlets in our community that are, we use the term stakeholders. I'm looking for influential people in our community, whether that comes from a local church, whether it comes from a local business or a local business owner, that people look up to and say, hey, this person right here, people listen to. This person is influential in this community. Because although we're all Conway, y'all know just as well as I do, there's a community over here.
Right.
There's a community over here. There's a community over here. And most of the times, those little communities are built around churches. So I feel that our churches are some of our staple points that I can reach out to and either have an elder or an up and coming elder say, this person right here needs to be on your board. And I've, for a couple of weeks now, I've been reaching out to different groups and different churches, different businesses, saying, give me a name. Who is your person? Who do you think is the most influential in your town? And I have came up with I have been given some wonderful names of people. So I'm very excited.
We have a couple of questions from our live audience, and I just want to remind everyone that if you do have some questions for Sergeant McAllister, please feel free to type them into the comments, either on Facebook or YouTube, and we will make sure to read the questions and the comments so that Sergeant McAllister can have a chance to respond. So one of the questions that comes up kind of aligns with what you were just talking about as far as engaging the stakeholders. Sister Joella McQueen, she asked, do you provide training for the stakeholders? So is that a part of the plan?
That will be something that once we start working out the fine details of it. I've got, of course, I mean, I'm very passionate about law enforcement in general, but something like this, especially when I dig my heels in and start running with it. Edward and April, both of y'all attended the Citizens Police Academy. I think y'all were both in class number 1 or class number 2. So y'all were in the early stages of the Citizens Police Academy when we started teaching it. And it has evolved over the years into this, I mean, just a phenomenal class. And I think that would be step number 1. Like, let's get these board members through the Citizens Police Academy. Let's get them inside of a police car and let them ride around for 8 weeks, 9 weeks, and then talk to me about policing.
Yeah,
I think that's an excellent idea.
That was, I think I participated in that, but it was only just one day. The one that I was in, that was extremely interesting. So could you share this with the audience as to what that involves? You know, it's not just a person a citizen that's just sitting in the car, is it? I mean,
that's exactly right. Now, the way we've been running the Citizens Police Academy, it has evolved from an 8-week program where the people selected. It's an application process. You put your application in. We decipher through the applications. We give priority to people that live in our town, people that live in Conway. Now, if we cannot fill a class up which we haven't had that yet, but if we cannot fill up a class with Conway residents, then we'll reach out into the outskirts of Conway into Horry County area. And the class, like I said, runs 8 or 9 weeks, depending on how we've got everything structured. But now we actually go on mini field trips basically every single week, where we go to these locations that we talk about in class and we tour them. So when y'all went through the class, you know, day number 1, it was going over the police department. So rather than sitting in a classroom talking about the police department, we spend 2 hours inside the police department just going through every nook and cranny. You get to see every single thing that goes on inside of here, and you get to go in every room, every office. It's no holds bar once you're in here. Week number two was always J. Reuben Long Detention Center. So rather than sitting in a class and going over J. Reuben Long Detention Center, we go out there, spend 2-3 hours inside J. Reuben, where you go through all the pods. You get to see booking, you get to see communications, you get to see transportation, you get to see how they operate on the inside. And we do the same thing for the county courthouse, the judicial center downtown. We do the same thing for the E911 communication center. So rather than just talking about these places, we're going to these places and spending. The class is supposed to be 2 hours every Thursday, but we end up spending 2.5, 3.5 hours, depending on how good the conversation and the class is going at the locations themselves. So it has completely evolved from this little class that started out to this magnificent class that we have now that goes on, that hopefully once the new year comes in and COVID starts dying down, we can get back to our in-person classes.
You know, I've fortunately or unfortunately, I've never been to J. Reuben Long. Either way, but
you'll get an invitation on the next class, Edward. I'll get you in there.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know what it looks like, man. I really don't. Heard a lot about it. I assume that's probably one of your major tasks, right? It's one of the major ones when you're going through the training. That
is a task. I wouldn't say it's that is a pine cone on the pine tree, Edward. That's one thing that we do. But I kind of want to do the same thing with this group. I want to take it from the ideas I've got in my head, and I want to evolve that group. And I've got so many different ideas that if y'all could see inside my office right now, I've got papers everywhere that I'm looking at. So I'm constantly looking at all these papers because I've got so many ideas in my head. But it's going to, we've got to take the action and develop this team now. And I don't want to wait till after the incident. Like I said, I don't want to wait any longer. So the people that I've spoken to over the last few weeks and that I've gotten buy-in on, their thing is, they said, look, I love the ideas. I want to be in the startup group. And we know that this startup group is just going to evolve. So once we start brainstorming together, having our meetings, I think this is going to evolve into something tremendous and something great for Conway Police Department and the city of Conway. The group itself, some of the ideas that I've got in my mind are, I don't know if it would be better to, I think starting out, it would probably be best for all of us to meet monthly. Now, once we get developed, we could go to a quarterly meeting where we meet 4 times a year rather than 12 times a year. But I think the way everything is evolving and everything is changing, we're going to have constant communication between the citizens outside and the police department. And I think it would evolve better every single month that we have our meeting, because people would come in with different ideas and different things, or, I heard this when I was at church Sunday, I think we should do this. So I think it would we would all feed off each other. And like I said, I've got a lot of people that are interested in it and that are ready to go with it, but I need more. I mean, I'm looking for more people. So, and that was kind of one of my reasons to reach out tonight, was to give y'all my information and say, hey, this is what we're looking to do. This is what I want to do for the Police Department of Conway. This is what we're trying to get organized, and say, hey, put my information out there. Let people contact me with some names, or say, hey, I'm interested in this. Let me get on it.
Yeah, you want to put some of that information up? Can you give us the audience some of the information that you want to leave them with? phone numbers and all that kind of stuff, and any protocol to follow?
The easiest way to reach me would be email, and I'm not sure if you want me to put it. Well, I can't type, can I, April?
Okay, J. McAllister
at cityofconway.com.
I was gonna say you can give it to me, Johnathan. Yeah.
Yep, it's JMCALLISTER at cityofconway.com. And what I'm looking for is like I said, I'm looking for some community stakeholders. I'm looking for the people that you think are beneficial and influential in our community. And the team we're just in the early stages right now. So it's just going to be some making contact, and everybody that I've talked to over the last few days, the last 2 weeks or so, it's just like, hey, thank you for your support. I've got your name down. I will be calling you periodically until we get started. Because it's taken some time to get everything built up, because once, just like everything else, once it's rolled out, I'm ready to do it 100%. So I want to make sure we've got all our ducks in a row before we roll it out.
Okay, so I see your email on there, but now is there a different number from the police department, the general number of the police department, that you want to share? Or
absolutely, my cell phone. Oh, because okay. This office phone, I'm very rarely am I sitting in my office. It's driving me crazy sitting in this chair right now. So very rarely am I in the office. That's why I say email super easy, or my cell phone number. And I'll give you that, April, if you're ready. The area code's 843-902-7274. And that's my direct line. I mean, that is this phone that sits right here beside me all the time. So a text message works just as good. Hey, I'm John Henry. I live in Hawaii, but I want to participate. As long as he flies the group to Hawaii, we'll go have a meeting in Hawaii. So
and you would have a ball, because he's a master chef. Sushi to soul food. He can cook it, he can do it all. I'm telling you. And he's a Conway native. So yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, he's a Conway native. I have just one or two things, because I know that there's some people who joined the broadcast late, or they probably didn't hear the first part of the broadcast. But if you could, I guess, kind of sum up what you're trying to do with the Conway Police Department Community Advisory Board, and maybe create 3 quick objectives while we're on air. What would you say are the 3 things that you want people to gain or take away from their participation on the advisory board?
3 things? Just 3?
Just 3. Yep. I know you have a lot, but 3. Your 3 main things.
All right. So you want me a brief recap of what we're looking for? We're looking for stakeholders in the community that can help form a group that, in the case or in the event that something bad happens in Conway, whether it is an officer involved shooting, whether something happens with a bad collision, there's a list of things that can happen that will put a community at a standstill. Mm-hmm. During that standstill, I don't want a division created. I don't want it to be the community and the police department. So this group is going to be the main line of contact between the police department and the community. We're looking for those beneficial or those influential people that, within moments of an incident occurring, I myself or some of the command staff can reach out to and say, hey, this is what just happened. This is where it happened. This is the we've got right now. And then that line of communication is open, so that every time we get an update as law enforcement, the community gets that update. And these groups, that's why I said, the churches are such a staple point. The congregations listen. Once that elder or that influential person within that church says, hey, this is what is going on, speaks, people listen. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what we're looking for. But I've got everything down from attorneys, doctors, groups within our community that I've reached out to, I've got an array of people from, and not just churches. So it doesn't have to be just a church, business owners, whatever it might be. But our main, some of the main things that we're looking to do, April, is just continue bridging that gap between law enforcement and the community. We want people to see that I'm a citizen just like y'all. This uniform is not what I wear 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm a person too. And I think y'all know that just as well. I mean, when I get home, I'm on the tractor, I'm farming. I've got 2 boys and a loving wife at home, and my farm and my family are my, every night when I say my prayers, I thank the good Lord for my faith. I thank the good Lord for my family, my friends, and my farm. That's some of the stuff that's staple points in my life that I hold dear. And I want people to realize that every single one of my officers are just like that. They're people first. They're people. So I want to bridge that gap. I want the community to see that our police officers are people. I want us to be able to get together as a community and a police department. I don't want us to only get together when something bad happens. Just like this here, we're trying to get ahead of the game. So I want us to be able to say when something does happen, hey, we're prepared for this. The community's prepared for it. The police department's prepared for it. Conway City is prepared for it. The city of Conway as a whole, not as a division, not as a police department, a public works department, a church organization, a group. We are the city of Conway. We're ready. And I could keep going on and on about different things that I think that I hold dearly, but the main thing is just communication. April, that's what it all boils down to. It boils down to communication.
Yeah. So, that was my main takeaway from what you just said. Develop a main line of contact between police and community to help disseminate information about public safety matters. That's what you're trying to do. And, bring together all of these constituents in the community, stakeholders, as you will. And I think it's great that you are, like you said, trying to bridge the gap from between the communities, because the reality that we sometimes fail to put in the forefront is that there are dividing lines in the community. It could be a highway, economic system or whatever, social system or whatever, but there are dividers in the community. Yeah. And if you're able to bring someone from, I guess that would be the north side of 501 with somebody from the south side of 501, so that they can come to understand what's happening in the community at large. I think that what happens there too is that you get people to talking, and you're able to kind of alleviate some of the misconceptions about each other's communities and cultures, and just people in general. So this sounds like a really good idea, and I certainly wish you well in pulling it together. And I'm glad that you already have people who are interested and want to be a part of the startup group. And I think diversity is the key, to make sure that you have representation from all sides, because, the truth in that matter too is that, we're Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. There's a lot of different types of people who are in the community, and, not just from a matter of ethnicities and race, but, gender and all the other indicators when it comes down to identity. And the more you can diversify a group like that, Johnathan, I think the more effective you will be at showing the people in Conway that we are Conway strong, and we're trying to work together. So,
Conway strong. I love it.
Yeah. So very good.
Go ahead, April.
I'm done. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was about to say that I like that phrase, Conway strong, you said. And I think April may have touched bases on this, but this could also be a tool of communities, even within communities, to make a greater interaction and unify themselves. Okay, and they could come to a rationalization as to how to address an incident that was done by the police, and police involvement, and that creates a good forum, I think, for the different sections of the community to come together and then have a discussion like that to find out, exactly what happened. Okay.
That's exactly right. That if the questions are not asked or the communication is not there, people are going to make up what happens. They're going to make something up. And that's what we don't want that to happen. We want the truth to come out. We want the facts to be told. And that's what this is all about. I'm trying to develop a line of communication so the facts and the truth go out.
So now, how many trainers do you have beside yourself? Do you have people under you that are doing just some of the same things, or?
Yes. Well, as far as training the police or starting on this organization here,
the whole everything, the whole training.
So this right here has been a project that's been given to me to develop. This is something that I've got in my mind, and I hit on it last year a couple of times with some different things that we were doing, but this time when the email come out to, hey, develop what you think would be beneficial for our group or our community. I've been kind of stewing on this for quite a while now. So this is my opportunity to take what I've got in my mind that I believe needs to be done and start running with it. I've got permission and backing to do this. So I'm ready to rock and roll with it. So this project right here, I haven't brought other entities into it yet. But I plan on reaching out, and that's kind of, like I said, what I'm doing here is reaching out to the community for some involvement, some help in it. But at the police department itself, as far as trainers go, I couldn't give you a number because I feel like all of our guys are trainers. All of our guys are constantly teaching each other. Now, on paper, at the police academy, instructors that I use during my instructing and my teaching, my in-service, or like tonight I've got 3 guys down. I've got 2 running the firearms range and 1 running the driving range. So I've got 3 people down there, and they're certified through the state for shooting and driving and everything. Because anything that we teach, we've got to have a state certified instructor in it. So if we're teaching driving, we've got to have a driving instructor. If we're teaching firearms, we've got to have a firearms instructor. And it breaks down to, if I'm teaching shotgun, rifle, and pistol, I've got to have an instructor in each one of those categories. If I'm teaching taser, same thing. I've got to have a taser instructor. So we have a plethora of instructors here at the police department, and but I feel like aside from that, all of our guys are instructors. Our guys are always teaching each other, especially when we have a new guy coming in or a new girl coming in. Even down to our 2- and 3-year officers that have been here just for a brief time, they're teaching our new hires, what to do, how to operate. So,
well, it sounds like you don't have a significant employee turnover.
We have had turnover in the past, but right now, I'll tell you, we're in a better position than any other agency in our immediate county. Chief Long has made it his goal and his obligation to make sure that we're hiring the right people and putting the right people in the right spots. And this past year we actually were granted through city council and a few more spots. So we filled up all the spots we had, and they gave us some more and said, hey, hire some more people. So we're looking to hire more people. Anyone interested in looking into law enforcement, go on the website, cityofconway.com. You can go under the police section. It breaks down to two different applications. You've got a civilian application, a class 1 application, and I think they've got a new one, which is a class 3 application. So if anyone's interested in a position here or want to talk further about it, that my contact information's went out, feel free to reach out to me. I'll talk with you about everything from jobs to organizations.
Well, it sounds like you got a free rein almost to do these things in the trainings. Kudos to the chief for that, for allowing you to have that rein. So that's okay. So April, we have commercials that we need to go to.
We do have a commercial break, and just want to thank you, Sergeant McAllister, for being here this evening and giving us this valuable information about the Community Advisory Board. It's going to be great. And if people want to be in touch with you, let's put your information up once again. Conway Police Department Community Advisory Board. If you want more information, you can always go back to this video once the broadcast is over, watch it and get more information. Yeah. But in the meantime, make sure you email Sergeant McAllister at jmcallister@cityofconway.com for more info, or we're giving you his direct number, his cell.
Wow, yeah, his cell number.
Yeah, you can contact him.
Don't do that.
Exactly.
Oh no,
that means he's
That's
really serious about
what contact.
That's right. You can contact him, or he said call or text. Text is probably best. 843-902-7274, and he will be in touch. And so again, Sergeant McAllister, I had an absolute wonderful time in Police Academy, Citizens Police Academy under you. It was enriching, rewarding, empowering, and it gave me a totally different perspective on what you all do as police officers. And it's interesting because my ride out, I completed the program, and during the time that I was in the program, it preceded everything that happened during our COVID years. But, you know, in conversations, I could always refer back to what I learned riding out with officers in the classes and all of that. And actually just have like some really educated conversations, insightful conversations, and real thoughtful conversations with people about, you know, how it's so important for us to make sure that we all understand both sides of the coin. Not to say that, you know, anything is excusable, but I'm glad that you mentioned the mental health aspects of things. And I hope that that works both ways, meaning you're learning the mental health aspects for the people that you have to serve, but also for your resources as well, meaning your officers, and making sure that they have what they need to decompress and deal with the day-to-day things that they have to deal with. So thank you so much for all the work that you do. I encourage anyone who is interested in learning more about police work to get involved with the Police Citizens Academy, and you know, when it's reinstated. And this is a good way to do it, since he's thinking about incorporating that training. That I think that's a brilliant way to do it. You know, because you, like we said it before the broadcast went on, you can show them better than you can tell them. So
that's right. That's exactly right.
So if they can see everything, feel it, you know, be in the midst of it, then there's going to be a different type of appreciation and understanding of it. You know,
one thing that was left out, I'm not sure if this is what I recall anyway, where there was a case where they were training with guns, and it was done by way of video, interactive video, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was interesting. It allowed me to ask some questions that I've been wanting to ask for all my life, in terms of why you have to shoot a person at certain parts of his or her body.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and that's still part of the program. We still do the TI simulator, which is the virtual reality interactive game, or not game, but training platform. So that's something that is still implemented. So and we get a lot of great feedback on that. They just did a demo week before last. Had a lot of people come through, that citizens come through and demo the machine and all, and we had a tremendous amount of feedback. People loved it. So but y'all, thank y'all for letting me come on here and speaking for 52 minutes. I was kind of worried. I didn't know if I was going to be able to speak.
Oh, no, you got it.
Y'all told me 30 minutes, and we're 52 minutes into this. So
it always turns out like that way. But it just happens so that you had a lot to say, man.
Oh, and I said about 1/10 of it. So, but y'all, thank you for letting me come on here. I really appreciate the offer and the opportunity to speak to the community.
Absolutely.
And please feel free to contact me, guys. If email is the best or text message is the best, because if I'm not sitting in a class or I'm teaching a class, as soon as I see that text or that email, I can shoot right back, and I will be in touch with you. So feel free to reach out. I look forward to anyone that's interested, anyone that wants to get involved. Let me know. Shoot me an email, shoot me a text, say, hey, I want to get involved, and just give me, and I'll be in touch, and we'll go over some, kind of just a brief who you are, what you do, where you're from, and all that. So thanks, guys, and I look forward to our next meeting.
Well, thank you guys, the whole department, and regards to the chief for reaching out. I think the community looks forward to something like this, and as they should. And we can't wait until we start moving forward to this on this.
Well, I'll keep both of y'all informed on what we got going on.
Absolutely. Definitely need some updates. Brother Edward, we could end the show now. We can go to commercial if you have some community announcements or anything at the end. We took in a lot of great information tonight. You don't have anything?
I don't have any community announcements. Do you have any, Johnathan? You have any department announcements that the community needs to know about? Or, I mean, this is just your opportunity.
No, I don't have anything right off the bat. We've got some projects coming up that are in the work as far as like Christmas to Remember, Shop with a Cop. So we've got a lot of different things. I can say just look at our Facebook page, City of Conway Police Department Facebook page. Look at the City of Conway Facebook page also. Our PIO is pushing out stuff all the time. So just look at the outlets that are there, guys, and follow and make sure you're up to date on what we got going on. We always put it out.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
We're going to let Johnathan go, Brother Edward, and I have a couple of things. You can let me know what you want me to do with this great information. Johnathan, thank you. Sergeant McAllister, it was wonderful to see you again. All right, stay safe.
Hey, man.
Thank y'all.
Thanks for coming on.
So, Brother Edward, there are a couple of free community events that are happening that I think are, worth noting. And I think this time of the year, it's always good to be able to highlight activities and events that are going on to help people in the community who may be less fortunate. So, I'll put it out there for us, for WCM Live.
Right.
If you are hosting a free event for the community, we consider that to be community service. If it's a food drive, a blanket drive, meal thing or whatever, angel tree, toys, whatever, let us know, and we can mention that at the end of the show or on commercial breaks, because this is the time of year when it's really important for us to acknowledge and help the less fortunate. Any time of the year is important, but this time of the year, especially when it's getting colder, it's time to really do what we can to help our fellow man. So there's a couple of things that have actually come through the network, and just want to make mention of them real quick. There is going to be and I got that today. There's going to be a free dinner plates tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. So, and this is happening at Kingdom Harvest Church, 7311 Highway 544 in Myrtle Beach. If you are in need of a meal, everyone is welcome. You can go to Kingdom Harvest Church from 5 to 7 p.m. on Highway 544 and get something to eat. We also have a couple of coat drives and let's see, let me find it. A couple of coat drives that are happening for the winter, and I think coat and blanket drives, and I think that's really important as well, Brother Edward. Let's see. So there is a veteran blanket and gloves drive. It's for veterans. Share the Warmth is the name of it. It's been going on ever since December the 15th. It's going to continue through December the 11th. Drop-off locations can be drop-off locations. You can find out more information about these drop-off locations by contacting Shanika Friend at 843-251-3196. All blankets and gloves will be distributed to veterans in need. And I think that's a wonderful cause, don't you, Brother Edward?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely a wonderful cause. So there's also going to be Christmas on the Farm at Freewood Farms. And, that's it.
Whoa.
Hey, I know you like that.
Yeah. Whoa. Freewood.
Freewood, Christmas on the Farm at Freewood Farms, and that's at 9515 Freewoods Road in Myrtle Beach.
Right.
There's going to be lots of things going on. It's Saturday, December the 18th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So you'll want to go to Freewood Farms and check that out. There appears to be no charge for that particular event, and it's for the holidays. So go out there and, get a taste of the Freewood Farms history. There's a lot to learn.
Oh, man, there's just so much out there.
Yeah.
Just so much.
A lot
So
to
much
learn
out
out
there.
there.
Kudos
Yeah.
to the Smalls family,
Mhm.
who's been fantastic at keeping that farm moving forward.
Mhm.
Good old sugarcane syrup, right there, being mashed in front of your eyes with the horse.
My goodness,
With
I
the
know that's some
masher.
good stuff.
Oh, man.
If you're interested in advertising with WC Magazine or the World Community Magazine, be in touch with Brother Edward. This is the time of the year to get your Christmas advertising in. Have you already gone to print with the December issue?
No, not quite.
Okay.
Not quite, but you can get the advertising
yeah.
for Christmas.
Get your advertising in for Christmas, and you can contact Brother Edward. Go to wcmmagazine.net for all of the information. You can also review today's broadcast once we're done from that website, and you can find out more about advertising. You can see some of our current advertisers on there, and also see the November issue of Whittemore World Community Magazine.
Yeah.
You just can't help it.
You can't get away from that. Okay.
Can't help it. So anyway, Brother Edward, I just want to bring to everyone's attention a couple of things that are going on in the community, and we'll have plenty of time to do more. Just continue to post to the network, post on the World Community Magazine Facebook page, or reach out to us through wcmmagazine.net. And
so what's Janet doing tomorrow? Is Janet Thompson?
Yes.
Yes.
Is tomorrow, which, you know what? It's tomorrow. Let me look at the calendar to make sure that's her day.
That's always interesting.
I know it is.
That's always interesting.
Yeah, she I don't know what she is doing for tomorrow, but I am going to play her commercial before we roll out. Educate Our Youth, Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. We have an amazing time. Janet talks to representatives from colleges and universities. She's still continuing the college virtual tour. Last week, she had an admissions counselor from Bennett College, which is in Greensboro, North Carolina. And, it's just wonderful to hear about the opportunities that are out there for anyone who wants to go to college. But in particular, when we talk about our young people who are looking for a way, the colleges are becoming more creative, even when it comes down to how you can finance college. And I've noticed that a lot of out-of-state colleges are offering affordable tuition for people who want to go to school, or for students who want to go to school but feel that they can't afford it. So, it's in your best interest to follow this virtual college tour that Janet has going on. She's been doing it ever since COVID started back in 2020, and so or 2021. Good job, Janet. Yeah,
she's been doing it.
I am telling you.
She's finding these.
She's doing it. She's digging.
These
she
college
really
administrators and all the different employees of these colleges. I mean, each one is vital.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They all have something to say that I think our youth can use.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So well, I'll play her commercial before we leave, and then our trailer. And Brother Edward, do we have anyone for next Monday? We're still working on it.
Still working on that.
All right. We've got some things coming up. People are reaching out to us to cover certain topics, and you'll be hearing about it more later. But the best thing to do is to stay tuned. For right now, it's Monday nights at 7 p.m. here on Facebook and YouTube, and you can catch us through wcmagazine.net.
And don't forget, we have some wonderful things coming up. Our first broadcast in 2022. Got some changes coming up.
Got some changes coming up.
Yeah, we just wanted have everybody keep their fingers crossed. Okay.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you tuning in tonight.
Thank you, April.
Oh, thank you, Brother Edward.
Regards to my brother.
Oh, absolutely. Always.
All right.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks. See ya.
Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your host Edward McQueen and April Garner.